Hey guys, it's Dawn. I just wanted to wish all the moms out there a happy Mother's Day. Today is my last card I made in my Mother's Day series, and once again, I decided to use the same stamp set I've been using. Although it's the same stamp set, I made a completely different style cardigan just so I can show you how versatile this set is. The stamp set is the Mom's Layered Flowers, and I just love this set because you can use it for so many things and not just Mother's Day. If you look at my last video, you can see all the different cards I've made with it so far. So let's get started. To save a little time, I stamped a bunch of the flowers onto some white cardstock off screen, and then I cut them out with my brother's Scan and Cut. I cut more than I needed, and whatever I don't use, I'll save for another project. I did cut some leaves out, but in the end, I decided not to use them. I'm going to stamp the center of my flowers with some inks, and the easiest way to do this is to use the negative space. I'm using the same negative paper I used last time. I just keep it in the back of my stamp set, so I always have it when I need it. I have some tape on the back side of the negative piece of paper, so the sticky side is facing up. Then I'll put it in my Misty stamping tool, so the sticky part of the tape is facing up. All I'm going to do is put the flower into the negative space. I line up the stamp onto the flower. It's okay if the flower comes up when you close the Misty. You just take it off the stamp and put it back into the negative space, and it will still be lined up correctly. I'm going to stamp them with the color of the rainbow. I decided to use pink because I needed 7 flowers. Once you stamp the flower, you just take it out and move on to the next flower. The process goes rather quickly because you don't have to move the stamp around at all. You just keep replacing the negative paper with a new flower. The next flower I'm using is the red velvet. I do clean my stamp off in between each stamping of a new color. I just keep putting the flower in the negative space, and when I'm done stamping, I just move to the next one. I just keep doing this until I have all the flowers that I want. When I'm done with all of my stamping, I'm going to save the negative piece in the back of my stamp set again, and I'm going to save all the flowers I didn't use for another project. I cut a piece of white cardstock to 4 1/4 by 8 1/2, and I'm going to score it at the 4 1/4 inch mark because I'm making a square card today. Once I score it in half, then I'm going to score it at the 6 3/8 mark, and then I burnish all the score lines, and this is going to make it look so that it kind of looks like a 7 in my opinion. I cut a piece of white cardstock to 4 by 4, and then a piece of stone card to 4 1/8 by 4 1/8. I rub my paper with my embossing powder bag. Then I stamp the mom sentiment in the middle of the paper with some black VersaFine ink. I pour clear embossing powder on it, and when my heat tool is good and hot, I heat emboss the sentiment. I'm going to use some Nuvo glitter drops. This one is called Silver Crystals. I love this one because it actually looks clear with glitter in it. All I'm going to do is put a little bit on all the petals of the flower. And using the head of the bottle, I'm going to move it all around on the petals. I find that this dries fairly quickly. It takes around 20-30 minutes, which I think is quick. I'm going to just do this for all of my flowers. I'm not going to show me doing all of them since it's a pretty simple process. Just make sure to stay between all the lines. I made the glitter go to the edge of the petal because I wanted the whole flower to be shiny and sparkly. I just wanted to show you what it looks like. I don't know if you can see how shiny and sparkly it is. I think it brings the flowers to a whole new level. While the flowers are drying, I take a piece of white craft foam and I adhere it to the back of the square, the white square. Then I adhere the white square to the stone-colored square. Next, I decided to make a decorative edge. So I'm using the Festive Edger dies. I'm using the floral one. I thought it went well with the flowers. So I cut another piece of stone cardstock to 4 3/8 by 4 3/8, and I tape the edger die to it about 1/4 of the way up, and then I'll run it through my die cut machine. And this is what it looks like. I take a piece of white cardstock cut to 1 1/4 by 4 3/8, and then using a pencil, I'm going to very lightly put pencil lines in between where all the flowers are. This is going to make squares on the paper. Then using one of my very small brushes, I'm going to color the squares in with the color of the rainbow. I'm starting with the yellow first, only because I'm using the same brush for all the colors and it's a light color. I'll just clean it in between each color. It's not really that big of a deal. What the lines do is help me to keep the colors behind each flower so I don't overlap any of my colors. Once I'm finished with all the colors, I'm going to adhere the paper to the back of the flowered cardstock with some liquid glue. And you can see how nice all the colors are behind the flowers. I went ahead and heat embossed the sentiment, thank you for everything you do, under the flowers, and then I'm going to adhere it to what will be the middle of the card. I take a black strip of cardstock and I adhere it above the flowers. I did go back and add another strip of black cardstock on top of this one. I thought it would help keep the easel standing straight up and down better. I put foam tape on the back of all the flowers and then I adhere them in a circle around the mom's sentiment. I put glue on the half flap and then I adhere my floral panel onto it so that the top half of the floral panel is not glued down, only the bottom half is. And as you can see, it opens and closes really nice and it stands up great. And then you can fold it back down and it fits in an envelope just fine. To finish off my card, I decided to add some gems to the middle of the flowers and a couple on the sides. I had these sparklettes gems I wanted to use up and get rid of, so I'm not using my usual "this calls for confetti" gems. I just adhere them to the middle of all of the flowers with some liquid glue. And that's going to complete my card for today. Believe it or not, this card was super quick and easy to make, and the gems in the Nuvo glitter drops really take this card to the next level. You can see how nice it stands up so your mom can display it wherever she wants. It also folds down really easy to fit in an envelope. I would love for you to leave a comment below and let me know what you think of the card. And if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my upcoming videos. As always, I want to thank you for spending your time with me. I hope you have a wonderful Mother's Day and hope to see you soon. Thanks.